I mean, that looks very normal, yeah. For what it's worth, fire right now, that's probably the best you can do. Because Magna sucks ass. Like, no cap, fire is that bad that you have to rely on these right now. I mean, at least they included Opus as well, too, now. Because, you know, that's part of their state progress, right? Well, it's either you use this or you use the Astral Weapon. If you have the Astral Weapon, probably use the Astral Weapon instead for this one. And then this one is, if you have Ultima like maxed out, you can ignore this. You can use Ultima instead, which, you know, I think quite a few of you already have for free, right? Isn't it? Yeah, so you can just use that instead of this. So you can use either Opus main hand to do like some bursting stuff, or yeah, you can go Kangor, I guess, if you want to. If you're going like Kangor and stuff, if you're not using your Seraphic as your main hand for this kind of grid, you can most likely remove one of these and just put the Ultima or whatever there. If that's what if anyone's wondering, this one's definitely usable. Yeah, summons. I mean, yeah, I mean that's really all you can do, really. you want this maxed out in any way, obviously. If you do not have this yet, obviously Sun is the most important for fire. If you didn't bother making this yet, because I don't really recall how many materials that they gave out for free. That is like whether is it enough to make 2 or not. But if you do not have this, you can use the horse name, the red hair, the red hair. Like I'm just saying, like if you do not, because this is the most important to have, but if you do not have this, you can put in red hair. Red hair gives you HP as well, so this one is not really needed. This one is just there for HP. Obviously, if you have it out to maxed ULB, then obviously this is better. Oh, so SR is only the max you can go. Okay, so yeah. For anyone's wondering, I guess we are in YouTube right now, but if you do not have them maxed out yet, you don't really have to max this out yet. You max this out first. Because like if you go for the red horse, I'll just give you a glimpse. Yeah, this red horse, see, you get HP as well. Even at 0 stars, it gives you some HP. Which I think is still higher than the SR version of this. Anyway, so yeah. I think only once you max out the thing, which I need to switch to this. Yeah, once you switch out Devil, then only is a little bit better, you know. Because I think the max out red hair should be 25% if I recall correctly. There, 25%, see? 25%. 25%. Yeah, only if you once max this out, then you get better one. If not, you can just, if you already somehow have a maxed out red hair or any of the sort along this, basically this series, the one that gives you the echo. So like red hair is for fire, water is the jellyfish looking I do not have that one, unfortunately. It's the jellyfish looking one. Caddy. It starts with CH something something. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that name. It's some jellyfish looking one. The earth is mammoth. I don't remember the name of the mammoth. Yeah, this mammoth. Yeah, always. It is mammoth. And then wind is apparently a fucking owl cat. Wind owl cat, yeah. Fucking owl cat. And then the light is Artemis. Yeah, light is Artemis. Dark is Zenithra. Yeah. Do I have them here? I'm pretty sure I do, right? Where are you? Somewhere. Oh, there you are. Yeah, Artemis is light. Yeah, Artemis is light. And then dark is Zenithra. Where is Zenithra? I'm blind. Oh, there you are. Yeah, this one. Yes, what chat said. Yeah, that one. I can't pronounce that name for to save my own life. Okay, so those are that is the series for that particular one, right? All of their sub aura adds HP. So because we don't know, like for example, for light and dark, technically now we do have these. Technically we do have these, right? But if you do not have them, yeah, you can just stick with those. If you have them, I'm pretty sure maybe you eventually just roll into them with your free rolls, whatnot. You can just use them as your sub aura. It still gives you something, because like I showed you earlier, in 0 stars, it still gives you something, at least 50% as bare minimum. It's still something, right? Better than nothing, right? So keep that in mind. Yeah. So this one, the other summons just basically use whatever that you have that are really good. So for example, like even if you're using this grid, right? If you have your own Babu or 000, I still think you can just use that instead of like. I'm pretty sure they force you to upgrade this, right, for the academy. Okay, never mind. You probably have that upgraded anyway. I'm pretty sure that's part of your thing, because I remember I was forced to upgrade my dark, right? Did I? Yeah, I did upgrade my dark. I remember they forced me to upgrade my dark to progress. Yes, I'm sorry, okay? I totally forgot about that. Yeah, so I mean, we are just coping whether they get better or not. But yeah, like if you do double Colossus for this one, because usually that's what you tend to go for, but you don't really have to do that. If you have your, like I said, if you have your own 000, if you also have your own Babu, yes. If you put that as main summon, that's still okay. And then if you just put support summon as Colossus, is also okay, because if you're using, say, like 5 of these, if somehow you have 5, you can just use 5. That's probably still definitely usable. You know? It's still okay. It's not the end of the world. And also the reason why is that these weapons are enmity based as well. Even if you have one Colossus, not double Colossus, you're gonna get a lot of damage. Just by losing maybe 20 or the 25-30% of your HP, you're still gonna get like maybe 1 or 2%, and that the few percent is quite significant, especially for enmity. Because enmity, you like in this game you get a lot out of it, right? So it's pretty nutty. For the rest of this, I think, like I said, if you don't want to use this, I would only say this is only good if you have a good AX on top of this. If you do not have good AX on this, you can just ignore it, I feel. Because if you already have Astral, probably, because Fire still definitely make use of Astral, just simply because of the extra echo you get on your third hit. Where is my Astral? This one. This one is only if you have, like, say, if you're already like super deep into Primal with Exalto or that stuff, like Zeta Spears. Yeah, this one gets removed for Zeta Spears. If anyone's wondering. Yeah, so if you want extra damage for that, you can use that. That's still more or less fine anyway. And Bahamut weapon is always nice to have in grids regardless, because of like the sheer flexibility of this weapon. And because you're also Magna, all these weapons, right, these things, they're all normal mods. So in other words, it gets affected a lot more because you're highly focused on Magna anyway. It helps a lot. And then not to mention, you get like way a lot of HP, especially if you're super new as well. Bahamut always helps in your grid just because you're lacking in HP, and so happen you're also using, say, like Belial in your sub aura summons. That can also kind of cuck you in having lesser HP altogether. So having like any Bahamut weapon that gives you HP and attack, or if sometimes they only give you HP and some other miscellaneous buff like multi-attack and whatnot, is still okay, you know. But most of the time you probably want the attack and HP anyway, right? Yeah. And then, like I said before in my university video, Opus is literally the most important weapon in the game, so just use that. And I think they are forcing you to, if I recall correctly, the academy forces you to ULB, right? I think so, right? They ask you to go like ULB, like full, like get to level 200 on all Magna Opus or something, right? I don't really fully remember because I just kind of skipped through everything for this one. I did not see the actual requirement for it. It's still okay. Some people were saying that this one is like they force you to make Magna, which is shitty, but I don't see how is that a problem, because end of the day, having all opuses maxed out, like eventually if you can 250 every single one of them, is always going to be a good thing. Doesn't matter. I'm not sure why people are complaining of that. I saw that in my Discord yesterday too. I'm like, huh? It's kind of weird. So yeah, it's not really a bad thing. And then, okay, so we're done with fire. Yeah, the grid is more or less fine. Yeah, more or less fine. The summons, I think I already mentioned it. I already stick to this too long already. So for water, yeah, I kind of guess it's all more or less the same anyway. Yeah, this one is kind of like the water tech as well, if I recall correctly. It's kind of funny that they give you this. Like they ask you to use the Akaram, the very, very common Akaram weapon as your main hand. And they ask you to use 2 different Xenos instead compared to fire. So yeah, this one is more or less the same as well, just because that you use 4 of these. It's like very similar case as fire too in a way, because you use this for crit, because this one has crit. Yeah, you use this for crit basically. This also gives you, for water, right, it gives you a crazy amount of HP, and especially if you're using a double Leviathan, so double Magna summons, right, these will get scaled like crazy, so you're gonna get a lot of HP for them. I remember, like, especially in the beginning, I was using this as well. It was really handy because you have so much HP. But especially for a grid like this, right, you only have crit and the raw attack, right? In a grid like this, it's actually a little bit hard to be like super consistent when you're in a raid with against bosses that has higher defenses than normal. The reason why I say that is because sometimes the crit can be very unreliable, especially if you do not have like the crits EMP on the said character, if you do not have crit buffs from your team members, you know, the ones that has the XX amount of chance to get extra damage, you know, those ones. Yeah, sometimes if you do not have that, that might be a problem as well. Or any other characters that really gives you extra raw damage. In this kind of grid, you definitely want that, because I experienced that in the past as well, using almost very similar grid, like using basically this 4 as well. But my damage can be very lacking sometimes. So like, say for example, if you're using, like, once again, I think because everybody has Kango by now, I'm assuming. If you're using Kango's buff is actually very helpful as well in that regard, because of that. It helps you buff everything. Like, not everything, but like most of the good ones. Like your multi-attack, attack, defense, you know, those ones. Having those kind of raw attack and consistency type of buffs is always very handy when it comes to grid like this, okay? So this one's is actually okay. But just a short note that you need a little bit of buffs to your team to make it more viable, okay? Summons, like, I think it's fine if you have a better summon. Like like the Akaram summons is more or less like always fixed, you know, end of the day. For this too, right, a lot of times you can just put whatever that you have better, you know. If somehow you already have like a say for example, even better, right, if you somehow manage to get a 210 bare minimum Varuna, right, it's probably better for you to slot that in there. You know, because if you have, oh wait, do I even have Varuna? I don't think I do, right? Oh wait, I do. Because if you have Varuna 210 minimum, right, at least you get this, right? Because this one is very handy if you actually do have this. Because you get extra 10% raw damage as well. You know, stuff like summons like these does kind of help as well. Or if, say, for example, if you're also, let's say you're a Mana Diver Enjoyer as well. You know, Mana Diver is very oriented to Crest, right, for example. If you have that as well, this summon is actually pretty good too, because of the sheer amount of extra bonus attack for like raw damage you get out of Crest. Because, you know, like I said, your entire team is probably Crest oriented, because if you're using Mana Diver, you probably have it anyway, right? So that helps a lot. Yeah, summons like these, if like, you know, if you have like your Belial or your Babu or whatnot, yeah, just slot that in there. It's always good to have them. Same goes for 000, right? A lot of times I would probably prefer if you just use that as your main summon anyway, but for the most part it's still fine. So this one is still okay. You can probably do a little bit better. Yeah, you can add dragon weapons in there, but for now you can just use this basically, and then you can just wait until Magna 3 comes out, and then yeah, you just use this. It's still fine. Okay, go next. Wow, I haven't seen this in so long, man. Dude, I straight up have not seen this in so long, because everyone has always been tasked, especially for newer players, to rush Kame so you can get the Kame grid done. Because if you can get Kame grid done, it's way better than this thing. If you can get Kame grid done, like once you fully upgrade this, well, maybe not fully upgrade this, because I think once you get full limit break, for example, you can recruit him. You only need to recruit Kame, right? Kame is this guy. Where is he? Yeah, this guy. I know it's full limit break right now. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, this guy. He's the guy where if you use one particular weapon, like the same different name on each individual slot, you will be able to get a lot of extra perks. So you get extra attack, defense, damage cap, and supplemental is only for full limit break, but yeah, you still get attack, defense, and damage cap, which is very, very significant for the most part. So that's why a lot of times people tend to ask you to rush for Kame first, because he makes your Earth a lot better than, well, this one technically still functions. You probably want to use either this or you use the 2.5 weapon, because I don't think they gave you that, right? Did they? I don't remember having that. That's the you know the raid has like another sword, right? This one is actually, I remember, a decent main hand as well. If you have this as well, you can actually use that as well. Yeah, I'm not sure if they gave that or not. I probably reduced it, so but yeah, you can use that as a main hand as well. The only difference that one is more towards offensive, because this one is a lot more defensive because of the water switch you get. This one is good for off element. You probably want to use others, the other main hand, just for, well, if you want to go hard on it, right? You want to be on the offense instead. So yeah, this one is only good for the main hand. Sometimes if you're lacking in slots, you can just put that as a filler. That's why, like, a lot of times if you have Kame set up, this one is also good, because you want one different weapon on each type, right? A lot of times you put one of these, one of these, one of these, one of these, one of these. You can also put your opus. You can also put your what other earth weapons that are significant? I don't really remember here. Level. Which other? Yeah, you can also, like, since we already have Rise of the Beast, you can technically also slot in your light Rise of the Beast weapons. The Earth Spear? Where's the Earth Spear? Is it a spear or is it a stick? Ah, this one! Yes! Yes, this one, yeah. Yeah, Autumn's Transformation. Yeah, you can actually use this as well, because it gives you a bit of crit as well, yeah. You can actually slot this in. Yes, you can slot those in as well. You can also slot in that dagger as well. This dagger as well. This one is also a good filler, but I think I mentioned this in the Rise of the Beast video as well, where this is only good for longer raids, because from what I remember, right, I guess a lot of people also probably not realize how progression works. Progression will cap out at a specific amount, no matter what, or medium or big or whatever, right? How big the size is, it will always cap a certain amount. It doesn't, like, how do I say, it doesn't like go past to us, like, after, you know, there's like a no limit. There's always a limit to this, and it caps always at 10 turns, right? And the more you stack this, from what I remember, what they usually do is that the number you get per turn just gets higher. You get more higher. Does that make no? That doesn't make sense at all. Every turn, your number, each turn, right? Because you have a cap, right? Let's just give an example. You cap out at 10%, right? Let's just say the cap is 10%. Each turn, instead of getting 1%, you're getting more than 1%. Yeah, so that's why I usually say, like, progression is better for, like, longer raids. It's only if you're thinking of going to a raid that is more than 10 turns per se, like how long you're planning to go stay in there, this one's better. It's always nice to have that. The other thing that you can also do, I think Chad already mentioned it earlier too, because I was actually getting into that. This thing, for if you're using Kame Grid, right? This thing has two, this Perseus has two versions, right? It's the same as, this one is the same tier as the Fire's, this thing, XX, this thing. That's why they have an ancient version on top of the name. The ancient version is for Magna. For anyone's wondering, the ancient version is for Magna. The normal one, there's no ancient on top of it, is for Primal. That means they give you the same mods but Primal. They count as different weapons, by the way. So if you're using came grid as well, you can slot in this one and the normal one, which, do I have one? I'm pretty sure I do, right? There's a different shine here. You see the background here? Like this is the ancient one, but if you click on this, there's like some shiny looking thing here. See, this is just, there's no ancient text on it. This counts as a different weapon for cave grids. You can actually just use two of these, like one this and this one. Okay, they both count as different ones. From what I remember for Kame's grid, right, for Earth in particular, they count as the name, because they both have different names, right? They technically have different names, so they count as a different weapon. They don't count as like, oh, they need to be a totally different weapon type or whatever. It just needs to be a different name altogether for it to work. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that's clear now. But yeah, either way, this one is like, this is basically kind of close to what I was originally using before Kame happened. Okay, because Kame is not like there in day one, right? For anyone's wondering. So yeah, before Kame came out, we were originally using 3 Brodia / LX axes, okay? This was the thing. And then I think at times I was also using 2... I mean, you could also even check my super old Earth Far HL setup. I was using this. My Earth Magna, I remember I was using 3 axes and 2 katanas or something. I used 2 katanas because I needed a HP, because you know Far HL needs a lot of HP. So yeah, that was the one. So this one is still okay because this 2 technically gives you more damage in a way, because this one, if you have it at level 200, it has a lot of raw damage. Because, you know, skill level 20 big is always nice to have. And then this one just gives you a little bit of HP, right? So it helps you a lot. The counter thing, you have to just ignore that. It doesn't really matter too much. Alright, win. That basically looks like the grid that I was originally using too. I mean, before Magna 3 came out, that is. That was the grid I was using too, technically, yeah. Summons is exactly the same. I don't think I need to repeat myself for the summons. Same thing, right? Summons, I think they're the same for every single element, so just you can do literally the same thing of what I mentioned for from the previous 2. For this one, is fine. For everyone's information, this is okay. This grid is fine. Okay, this grid is more than fine. You technically don't even need Magna 3 for this to actually be function. Just because Magna 2, before Magna 3 even, Magna Win was already in a relatively okay spot, because at least their weapons have some power to it in comparison. If you go back to like fire and water, for example, right? Wind has some power. It's still somewhat okay in that regard. But obviously with the help of Magna 3, Wind is a little bit better right now. But yeah, these harps are really good. The spoons are really good because this one is stamina. Medium stamina is really, really strong. So say for example, if you do not have like a lot of stamina mods, for example, let's say you only have stamina in your, say, Opus, because I think that's what I also kind of suggested for Opus, right? You just go for stamina. Stamina is like the no-brainer one. If you only have stamina here, right, having another one in here, like having your harps, is actually very, very helpful as well. It helps out, gives you a lot of raw damage, so your consistency is a lot better, and you get big crit as well. So in other words, you get more consistent crits as well. So because if you're using the I think now if you somehow did Magna 3 already, if you have this at 250 somehow, pretty sure you only need one of these. You don't need 2 of these anymore. Just one harp is already more than enough. Especially if you go double, if you still go for double Tiamat, right? One of these is definitely enough, because you get the big modifier out of these, and if you're also using this gets stacked as well. So this will be higher as well, because for those who doesn't know, these spoons, which we tend to label it as, they do have crit as well. It's just not big, it's medium. But medium is still quite significant too, because you have big and then you have medium as well. And most of the time you only use these, like these spoons, if you want HP, because this is like your HP grids. Your HP thingy, yeah? It helps you to have some HP. Very, very helpful It's one of the better Magna 2.5 weapons, yeah. And then for the rest, if you already farmed Magna 3, I think... I was... What was I using? I have a Magna 3 somewhere, I set up somewhere. This one, I think. Yeah. This was what I was using, but yeah, if you do not have this, you can just put in your spoons and harp. I guess that works too. But yeah, if you have guns, that's fine too. Yeah, if you have spoons as well, that's fine too. You can just put that in there instead of this. But the dragons for... The dragon weapons for Wind, you have to keep in mind that you only use that if you want to go skill-oriented setup. So like having Leech, having Mana Diver per se, those kind of characters that has a they machine gun their skills. You always want dragon weapon for that, and /PNS weapons, which is Cat's Dagger, because that gives you more damage per se. I haven't tried the tempering yet. I didn't really bother experimenting the whole Magna tree yet, but you always want the gun anyway, for the most part. The gun is the most important one. But yeah, moving forward, Xeno is always good. This one is a good main hand. This one is also a relatively nice main hand to use as well, if you do not have a proper main hand spear / fist, okay? This one is okay too. These are fine. Yeah. If you have other better weapons that then can slot in, if you do not have them yet, you can also use the Rise of the Beast again. So, because the Rise of the Beast weapons are actually not bad at all for Wind. So, like, say the Harp, I think. Yeah, like I said in my Rise of the Beast video, this one's not bad because you get some raw damage. You get extra HP as well. So, in other words, you get more HP. More HP, more sustain, the better, right? So, I can say no to that. And then also you get the gun as well. This is the progression one. Yeah, this one is okay too. If you want to use that, it's okay too. And then if you have raw weapons, the raw axe is also definitely okay to slot in if you want to. Especially if you have attack awakening in them, it's okay too. Okay, yeah. And also if you're using if you're trying to go for a shorter burst type of setup, Nataku Spear or Nessa Spear is actually okay because you get a lot of raw damage in this one single weapon here. So if you manage to get, like, say, if you get like Stamina 3 per se, and then you get this is actually very, very handy. This one spear gives you a lot of damage. Just one. You need one. Okay? Yeah, that adds up a lot. Very, very helpful weapon as well if you want to go for burst, because that only lasts for 8 turns. Yeah, I think that's more or less it. If you also have like the if you also have wait, what's the celestial weapon? Yeah, by all means you can slot that into. That also applies to every single element, by the way. If you have celestial weapons and if you're using the characters associated to the celestial weapon, because we only have harp, sword, and fist at the moment, which the next one will be bow and stick, if I recall correctly. Yeah, by the time any like future or whatever, once that is completed, if you can slot in those ones, that will help as well. Okay, yeah, so either way the grid is fine. This is more or less what you want to go for anyway. I think light should be swords, right? Yeah, so this is basically what I remember suggesting in the past as well. I don't think I put it as a video, but I remember whenever chat asked if the Metatron spears were actually good or not, I always say that you can just stick with literally this grid and you'll probably still be fine anyway. You can literally stick with the old school Chef Sword summons. Chef Swords. I'm not sure why the hell you might say that earlier. Chef Swords with Xeno main hand, because it's a good main hand. Or you can use Opus main hand, that's fine too. With Cosmos, adds a little bit damage cap here and there, and it's just fine. But now that we have Magna 3, this is totally different now. You still can use this. This will still get you somewhere, okay? At least this will still function. You have to remember that GBF is one of those things, right? Where it doesn't, like, the moment we get newer grids, right? Like maybe in 2025 you have newer grids per se, for example, right? It's not like the old grids just gets deleted. A lot of times people always tends to get blindsided. Every time new things go, oh shit, I must go for that one, you know? Everyone seems to have that problem for some reason. It's not like everything else before that is just straight up gone. Everything prior to that will still work. It's just not as strong, sure, but at least it still functions, right? You can still set that as part of your goal no matter what. End of the day. At least because, you always have to go like you have to go step by step, when you start here, right, you slowly move towards you go high end game, right, so your strength just goes like that, right, you'll just be a nice slope upwards. You slowly get there, you're jumping, you're not really like fucking speed running your way to the end or something unless you already have everything for primal or something. I don't know. Summons, like I said before, is the same thing, right? If you have them, like I said in the fire and water one, use theirs. This one's still fine. Definitely fine. But yeah, if you have Magna Tree already, might as well just swap to Magna Tree, right? I mean, I already shared like the my okay, this is the old one. I think I already shared my my Guild Wars setups, right? The one that involves 3 guns. Yeah, I was using mostly the same one. Yeah, my Guild War. I think I already shared my Guild War setup, right? You can just refer to those for Magna Tree things. I think Dark is Fist, right? Or is it Stick? Oh, this is Ogi, eh? Man, Cerberus gun though. Oh man, that one I'm a little bit skeptical though. I mean, it's still an okay. I'm not too sure about that being a main hand though. The only time people actually use this right now is in Fast Zero. I think Dark has a little bit better tech now, but before, at the beginning, right, people always use this because Dark has problems multi-attacking. Because this has big multi-attack rate. I wouldn't really suggest you to use this as a main hand. I wouldn't really suggest it, but at least they give you for free. Because the only way for you to farm this is like some single player thing, which is very, very annoying. I wouldn't suggest you destroying that either, so you just keep those. Basically, all these weapons they gave you, right, it's better for you to just keep it and put it on one side too. Maybe not the SR weapons in the beginning, in the early stages, but yeah, you can just keep all these. For the most part, this grid is okay if you're OGing. Trading pendants, that's even worse, but yeah, so it's good to have one. This one is only good if you're OGing a lot. And that's probably the only thing you tend to go for anyway. If you're, if you're starting out, right? Honestly, Dark sucks right now. Truth to be told, Dark Magna, you know what Dark Magna is, by the way? In this day and age, right, Dark Magna consists of like very similar to what I'm using right now. Just imagine this as a Magna version, and just imagine this as like another X of or something, and that is basically Magna these days. That the go-to setup for Magna Dark these days is that. As stupid as that sounds. If you want the go-to, that was what the Dark is. If you want to use a standard Magna 2 setup, and if you want to go Ogi per se as well, especially if you're using sticks, right, for this one, you definitely want to use the dragon, the Fidel Dragon Sword. Because the Dragon Sword gives you extra supplemental Ogi, and you definitely want that. At least, well, 1 or 2. Either one works as well. If you slot in 1 or 2 is fine, yeah, this one. If you have this, it's definitely good, because this helps quite a bit as well to make your damage to go even further beyond. And then if you somehow have enough dupes for Parazonium is a really good main hand as well, if anyone's wondering. For your Mana Divers case. But yeah, the grid is okay. If you do not have... if you also have Astral, you can technically slot that in as well. If you want to get your autos a little bit better. Where's my Astral? This kind of helps as well. But this doesn't really stack with a lot of stuff, so it tends to kind of suck. But yeah, you can use that too if you have it. If you have it already, by all means, right? But other weapons you can slot in if you don't really feel like using these. The few ones you can keep in mind is that, yeah, this one is okay. I know Kirin is kind of whatever these days, but Kirin Sword is definitely one of the better ones. Along with the bow, you can slot that into. But I think if I recall correctly, if you slot that in, the Astro doesn't work anymore. I think they have the same mod or something. I might be wrong there though. Check and probably correct me. But yeah, those ones are okay. If you want to, you can technically also just use a fist as well. The Celeste fist, which I'm pretty sure I removed all of them. You can use that as well if you want to. Yeah, having one of these is okay as a main hand as well. This Anubis X is actually a really nice main hand. You get extra multi-attack. And then you get extra Majesty from for your primal, and then you get a little bit of this. Can't say no to that if you have that as well. If you want to use that as a main hand too, that's good. That's a good choice as well. If you do not have Arash or whatnot, for example, right? At least we are getting Magna 3 soon for Dark, which is the next one. The next cycle is Fire and Dark, and then the last two is Water and Wind? Water and Earth? Yeah. Water and Earth. I'm not sure why I said Wind. But I think that's enough explanation for this, right?